Good morning everyone. Today William is going to do the experiment and we'll walk you through what you need to do. So before you start, you need to get a bowl that has water in it. You need to get a piece of plastic. We used a Ziploc bag, a piece of wood. You could use a paddle pop stick. We've just chopped off a bit of a wooden skewer, a piece of normal paper and a piece of paper towel or serviette. Now you might notice that the plastic, the paper and the paper towel are all the same size, because when we do science experiments, if we're trying different materials, we try and keep them the same size. It was a bit hard to find a piece of wood the same size as the other things though. So William's going to have a look at the plastic. What do you notice about the plastic, Will?
It is see-through, shiny and quite smooth.
See-through, shiny and smooth. What about the skewer?
Quite solid and in certain way it's quite smooth, in other ways it's rough.
So if you touch it one way it's smooth and if you touch it the other way it's rough? Nice.
Yes.
And the paper?
It feels kind of like dust.
It feels a bit dusty. So soft, would you mean?
Yeah.
What about the paper towel?
The paper towel is quite rough.
Okay.
Because it has lots of bumps in it.
Rough and bumpy. Now, in a minute, I'm going to get you to put one thing at a time in the water. But before you do, I want you to hypothesize. I want you to think, how will this change? So if you dipped the plastic, how do you think the plastic would change?
I think it would get heavier.
Do you think it would get heavier? Do you think it would change the way that it behaved? Would it go floppy? Would the water soak in?
A bit quite floppy and heavy.
Well, why don't you try? Dip the plastic in. And pull it out. And what do you notice? Has it changed at all?
A little bit.
But it's pretty much the same as before we dipped it, isn't it? It's just a little bit wet. If we let that dry out, do you think the plastic Ziploc bag would be exactly the same as it was before you dipped it in the water?
No.
Why do you think that?
Well, over time, it may start getting weaker and weaker.
Well, if we don't put it over time, do you think it would be the same as
Yes.
it was before if we just did it today?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about the wooden skewer? Do you think the skewer will change after you dip it?
No.
Have a go. Let's see. Put it all the way flat. What do you notice about it?
It's actually got a bit shinier
It got
because
shinier,
because somehow the water has reflected off.
so that it got shinier. And did it change colour at all? Did it get a bit darker?
Yes, a tiny bit.
Got a bit darker as well. What about the paper? What do you think will happen to the paper?
I think with the paper it will get all soggy and kind of like tear apart by itself.
Okay, so put the whole piece in, dunk it right in, all the way under the water. Leave it there for a minute. Okay, now take it out. And has it changed?
Yes, it's very floppy.
Floppy, and looks like it's a bit darker as well.
Yeah, and also it's quite fragile now.
Fragile as well. Okay,
So
pop
if
that.
I ripped it, it would easily go apart.
So you think it would more easily tear?
Yes.
Okay, what about the paper towel? What do you think would happen if you put the paper towel in?
I think it would just go floppy since paper towel has more layers.
So it has more layers.
So I think it would just go a bit floppy, but not be easy to tear apart still.
Let's have a look. Dip it all the way under. did it change?
Well, it's now see-through and
It's see-through.
actually it is quite easy to break now.
Easier to break
Sticky
and sticky.
because the water and it sticks to your hands.
Right.
And that's it.
Okay, thanks for helping us today, Will. Bye.